Hello everyone watching. I got a request to actually show the threading of the machine, so this is what this video is for. I'm showing you the tree there and the attachment that comes with the serger, which you have to place on there. You can see it sticks on pretty well. You want to make sure each one has that before you put your large spool on there. And each spool also has a net that you want to make sure is on the spool. That helps to keep the thread under control. I'll be making adjustments of the camera, so I do apologize. It's a little jumpy at places. But I wanted to show you each time you're starting your thread, as you put them through the holes, you always want to go from back to front. So, and I'll fix the zoom in just a second here. You'll see I undo it and then redo it so that you can see exactly how it's done, since people are asking for that. So here we are going to take the thread, which is gray, and from the back through, and then again for the slot, you want to go from the back, not in the front, but from the back and then through. And that's how you thread each time. For each spool, it starts off the same way. The first 3 steps are exactly the same. And I'm going to be zooming out here to show you before I cut to the next clip. Again, you'll notice above the tension knobs there, the tension knobs are the yellow, pink, green, and blue knobs, and so above them they each have a hole, and again from back to front is how you want to thread that through those small holes.
So the thread is going around this hook, under both of these brackets, through this hook here, and then you'll see this little purple lever at the bottom. You move that to the right, usually you would move it to the right. There we go. And your first needle comes out. This needle is actually horizontal, okay? And the hole is right at the end here. What's important is you want to make sure your thread goes into this. This little triangle is actually a catch. It protrudes from the needle so that the thread can catch in there to secure it. So try not to get caught in the other pieces of the machine like I just did for a little bit there. No biggie. Okay. So now you can see my thread is going to go behind that triangle. See that? To make sure that it's secure. The fun part being to put the thread through the hole at the end of this needle, which if you make it wet, cut the tip, it should be fine. The tweezers come in handy because once you thread the needle and you just have a little bit sticking out the back, you can use these tweezers which come with the serger to grab that thread. You know, I've grabbed it. Going front to back this time to thread this needle, this first needle. And another important step is to make sure, per the directions, that when the thread comes back, it goes under this second needle. This is another needle that's more horizontal, kind of hooks upward. And that's for the second thread. So you want to make sure this first thread goes behind it. And if you just pull the thread towards the back, see it here, at an angle, each time you thread it, let the threads lay towards the back at an angle that way, and you'll be fine. So I'm repeating the exact same first 3 steps. Back to front. Now my thread is going to be red, going down the tension, along the tension knob in the slot. Now these directions for the second thread are green, so you just follow them. This time we're going to this second hook. It's more inward. And remember, this time just the top bracket has the green dot, so you only want your second thread to go between the two, so it's only in the top bracket. And then we're going to go up to here, the higher hook. Make sure it's in there. And now we're going to thread that second needle. And I literally just put the thread through there that quickly. I find these horizontal needles they seem to have a bigger hole, so easier to thread. And again, you want to make sure it's going towards the back and to the left. This little lever here is because I took the foot off, so I would definitely remove the foot, press your foot before you do this, so it's out of your way. So there's our second one. See, now I'm going to bring the third thread. And this time, third thread is actually, the last 2 threads are the easiest. It's just like a regular sewing machine. So again, I'm not going to show it to you again, but I'm coming from the back to the front on the tree. And also, I'll lift the camera up in a minute to show you, so you can feel better. Like, what is she doing? Don't worry, nothing secretive. So I just, from the back to the front, from the back to the front, on this, from the back to the front, and now just going down. Again, tripod on my table, it's not the easiest. Okay, so letting it go into the tension slot under this metal piece, going all the way across under the metal piece, under the white piece, just like the diagram shows you. We're going to go up and around, and there's a little picture here that has a black bar, which represents this. If you look, there's a little piece of metal sticking out. So you just want to be mindful, just like the picture shows you, the third thread is going to go to the right of that little bar. I'll zoom in more. So that's the picture, that's the little, I'm sure there's a name for it. We just want to make sure your thread's going on to the right side of it and down. And I'm just doing this so you can zoom in on this. So now, okay, I mean, it's too heavy. Okay, so keeping my thread to the right side of that bar, I'm just going to thread the needle. And just like all sewing machines, I'm going to let it go in the back of the catch here. put it through. Just so you can see it. Okay, so like most sewing machines, I'm just letting it go behind this bar, and I'm going to thread that right side needle. Again, if you cut it and wet it at the end of the thread, it'll make it easier to put through the eye of the needle, which I'm doing off camera. Oops, I just had it popped up. Usually doesn't take this long. Okay, and I'm taking the tweezers so I can pull it out through the back, being mindful of what the string or thread is being wrapped around. I'm keeping it around my finger here, keeping it around my fingers so it doesn't catch on other parts of the machine. Again, underneath, making sure it goes underneath the presser foot catchers and towards the back, just like that. Okay, so that was the third thread, and now final thread. Each time you do it, you'll get faster. If things get messed up, the easiest way to fix it, honestly, is to cut everything and just start from and go from right to left all over again, instead of trying to maneuver like the third or fourth or second string. When you do it out of sync, it can you tend to miss things, so it's just better to go in order each time if you're having issues. So let's see if I can zoom out a little. So I'm doing everything exactly the same, with going from back to front, letting the string go down here. So now it's going down this last slot, up, it's going to go up and around, and now this time I want to make sure that it's going to the left of this silver piece that's sticking out there. Make sure it's on the left side. Then I'm going to make sure that it goes behind there, behind this, right, just like you would on a regular sewing machine. And I'm going to thread the needle. Wet and cut the end to make it easier. Wet and cut the end of the thread to make it easier. And it went through already, so now I'm going to take my scissors so I can grab it from the back, tweezers, so I can grab it from the back. I'm keeping it around my hand, around my finger, see how it's just laying there? Just to keep it from getting tangled on the inside of the machine as you're pulling it through, especially if it's really long. And then I'm just gonna make sure it's going underneath, right? Back and to the left. Now, so now you have all 4 strings threaded in your serger. The door is open right now to the front of the machine, so I'm going to let it close, but I'm holding on to it because there's a spring mechanism, so it'll slam shut if you let it. You don't want that to happen. Okay. And again, I apologize, it's wobbly, I know, but I have my camera on a small tripod on my desk, so what I'm going to do is pull this closer to me, first of all, so that my pedal can actually touch the floor. What I'm going to show you now is I'm holding all the 4 strings in my hand on the left side of the machine. And this knob, I'm actually going to manually crank it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm doing it several times because I want to start to see that chain. Okay, and I did crank it several times. I didn't see the chain, so I just started pressing the foot, and I'm starting to see the chain. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Alright, so I took my own advice because I was running into an issue where the 4th string wasn't part of it, and I just restrung it. I cut them all and started again from right to left. It took me 3 minutes maybe, and now it's working. I don't really have, I mean, that's my best advice. If for some reason they're not all part of the chain, then just cut it, start over. I mean, once you get used to it, you'll find it takes just a few minutes to thread the machine and get things working. The important part is to remember to start on the 1040DX from the farthest right and just in order to left. Always start from the back when you're going through the holes in the tree and the slot in the tree, just back to front, back to front. Same up here, don't forget this, above the tension knobs, you want to go from back to front. Follow the color coordination. Once you've threaded everything, and each time you're pulling these threads through back into an angle like this, hand crank it about 10 times and then press on the pedal. Let, you know, just gently holding the chain as it comes out, and you should be good to go.